Today we're going to talk about this decrease when you have a central stitch and the decrease goes kind of around this central stitch. So sometimes it's called a central double decrease. So what we need to do here is we need to define a central stitch and kind of hide the decrease behind that stitch. And I'm gonna explain you that in two ways. You can knit both in flat and in the round. Knitting in the round, you see the result you can achieve by using this decrease. I use it a lot for hats, for forming the necklines, but first I will show you in the flat. So I have 1 by 1 ribbing, knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1, and so on and so forth. And I defined that I want my decrease to go around this central stitch, so I marked it, and this stitch will be my central stitch. Before I start, just a reminder, I knit in combination continental eastern granny style, which means that knitting in flat, this is what my knit stitch looks like, and this is what my purl stitch looks like, just to avoid the confusion. My knit stitch, my purl stitch. Knit, purl, and now I'm about to reach the point where the decrease is going to happen. Now what we need to understand that we can use either our hands or an extra marker to kind of separate this stitch from the others, and I will be showing you all the ways that you can use to make this decrease more easy. Now let's use a stitch marker. I'm going to use this blue one, and I need to transfer the purl stitches. See, I have purl, knit, purl, so I'm going to decrease these two purl stitches here. So I transfer the first purl stitch to my right needle and I mark this one off, or you can use a third needle or like a special pin, you know, to that you use for cable knitting. Anyway, so we've got two purl stitches. I'm transferring the first one back to the left needle, and the idea of this technique is to have these purl stitches knit together. But see, since I'm using that combination continental eastern granny style, I like my stitches to be turned the way I usually knit, because I'm going to knit these two together. So I'm going to turn this stitch, like for a knit stitch I will go through the back loop, okay, and I turn this one so I can go through the back loop, and I'm going to do the same to this stitch also. I'm going to turn it so that I have this back leg right here, and I'm going to transfer this one again to the left needle, and I'm going to knit these two together. And I have my knit stitch. I'm transferring it to my left needle, again respecting the way my eastern granny style stitches should be on the needle. This is the leading leg and this is the back leg, and I'm going through the back leg. I'm knitting through the back leg. I had my stitch on the marker and I'm gonna transfer it to the right needle, and now the idea of the decrease is to pull this one through the central, through this leading central stitch. So I'm gonna just pull this secondary stitch through the central one, making sure that it's not twisted. Okay, let's do it again. So I turn my two purl stitches so that they look like my granny stitches, my normal granny stitches. I knit them together, and the result of the decrease just goes through this central stitch. And see, this chain created by this central stitch goes on, and I got rid of those two purl stitches. So what I have here, I have knit, 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 right? And I have a decrease. Now, respecting the way my stitches sit on the knitted needle, I should turn this one to make sure that they all look granny style to me. Okay, so this is the way my stitches should be. And then I just continue until the end of the row, and since this version is knitting in the flat, I'm gonna show you what's going on the purl side. And basically you already understand that not much is going on the purl side, just the knit stitches became purl stitches. And how many do I have of those? Of course 3, because I had 3 knit stitches, and now I have 3 purl stitches on the purl side. Where are they? We're almost there. So I go knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl until I see those 1, 2, 3 purl stitches. So 1, I purl it. The second one, which way should I go? Probably I want to switch the sides. See, it's very important to make sure that the stitch isn't twisted. If you see that it's kind of twisted, you can just play with it, transfer it, see when it makes more sense. And in this Easter granny style, you purl through this front loop, so probably this is the way the stitch will look more natural here. And then another purl, and I've got 1, 2, 3 purl stitches, and I continue knit, purl until the end of the row, and we will see in just a second what do we have on the knit side. Okay, now important thing here is I like to keep my stitch marker where the reductions just started. I don't like to transfer it closer because I see the stitches, and when I stumble upon those 3 knit stitches which kind of break the rhythm of knit, purl, I just see that I need a reduction right here. But if you like to transfer your marker, you can transfer it right here so that you feel it with your thumb that it's time to do the reduction. Anyway, what do we see here? We see 1, 2, 3 knit stitches, and I'm gonna knit these 2 together behind this stitch, and this is a central stitch, and I want to respect this chain, and I want it to go on and on and on, and so this stitch will be hiding this reduction. And now I'm gonna do it without a stitch marker and without a 3rd needle, and I'm just gonna switch places, so just like this, and I keep this central stitch on my right knitting needle. 2 together, 2 knit stitches together, and now I pull the 1 from the reduction through the central stitch, and here's what happens. I still have my central stitch go on and on and on, and 2 of these 2 knit stitches are hidden behind the central stitch. Now I'm going to continue until the end of the row, and on the purl side I really need to check what my central stitch looks like and how it's oriented. And remember, I want all my purl stitches to be oriented like that, because for Easter granny style I knit through this front, I purl through this front loop. Okay, purl through this front loop. So I want to do that with that stitch, because if I shift the way I purl just exactly where the central stitch goes, if it's twisted or if it's wonky, it's just not gonna look good. So I need to see, I've reached this spot where my reduction happens, and well, it just doesn't feel natural. So I'm gonna turn this stitch just like this and purl it and check on the knit side, does it look good, does it look twisted? If not, I just shift the leg and see. If I go like this, does it look good? Well, actually it does look better. Let's compare. If I purl this way, what do I have? Well, this leg kind of stands out, so probably I want to change the direction and purl it. Does it look better? Now it does. Now it does. Nothing is twisted. Nothing is twisted. So I'm gonna finish this row and begin the next row, and I will see you just exactly where the next decrease happens. I've reached this point where I have my central stitch and 2 purl stitches around it, and I want to decrease these two. So now this time I'm not going to use a stitch marker. I'm just going to transfer this central one to my right knitting needle and knit these two together, except for I really want to turn them because I've got this front leg closer to me and it's not the way I knit in this style. So I'm gonna turn this stitch and just knit them. Oh, actually I want this way so it's more comfortable to knit. Okay, so I made this turn, I made this reduction, and I pull the result of the reduction through this central stitch. Okay, and I continue until the end of the row. Central stitch goes on and on and on and on, and the reduction happens here and here. Let's continue this row, and I will see you at the purl side where I have this purl stitch, which definitely is gonna be twisted because I didn't oriented the right here. I have this stitch, and if you're not sure what's the right way for this stitch to sit on the knitting needle, you go ahead and turn it and see. Okay, it's probably, well, it's definitely gonna be twisted. See, this leg kind of stands out. No, it's wrong. It's wrong. Now let's try to turn it this way. Is it? No, this leg stands out. No. Okay, let's orient it this way and purl it. Okay, this is what I wanted. No twist. No twist, see? And continue this row. Now let's do one more decrease and talk a little bit about mistakes, more about mistakes. Oh, I've got my central stitch right here. See, I'm not transferring the marker because I see the stitches, but if you need to, you transfer your marker right here. Anyway, here's my central stitch, and now I'm gonna do it again without any stitch marker. So I've got this stitch on my right needle, and let's see what we have here. I feel like I want to turn this stitch so that I can knit it with the least effort possible. You know, this Eastern granny style is all about efficiency. And if you are not sure which way to turn this stitch, you just ask yourself, which is the most comfortable way for me to knit? And probably this most comfortable way for you to knit is the most comfortable way for the stitch to stay on the needle. So if you're not sure, just turn it a little bit. Make sure that it feels okay. Now you have this reduction, and pull this new stitch through the old central one. And again, if you are not sure if this stitch is oriented the right way, try to transfer it, try to see what it looks like. Or if you are not sure, just go ahead and reach the wrong side, the purl side, and figure out what's the best way for this stitch to be turned or to be oriented on the purl side, because when you do the purl stitch, you can really see what it gives you, if it turns the stitch, if it twists the stitch, or if it doesn't. So I'm about to reach the place where my decrease happened. It's right here. So let's try to purl it. I purled it, and let's take a look at the knit side. Is it okay? It's actually is okay. Now let's see if I turn this stitch this way and I purled it. Aha, I see this leg stands out. It kind of stands in front, which gives me a twisted stitch. I don't want that. Let's try one more time. Let's turn this stitch. Aha, now it's the right way. Let's transfer it this way and purl it. You see? Now this leg stands out. Okay, it makes perfect sense. So I need to turn it just the way it looks, not twisted at all. Well, I really hope that it makes sense. So I'm gonna get rid of this stitch marker, because we see everything without the marker pretty good. Can you spot where the reductions happened? Yes, they happened right here. They happened right here. It's obvious. We had purl, knit, purl, and now the purl stitches disappeared. Okay, but the central one goes on, and then those knit stitches disappeared. And let's go next. What do we see? Still purl stitches are right here, but now they disappeared. We did the reduction right here, and then it was the purl side, and then the knit stitches, and they are hidden behind this one. But the central stitch goes on and on and on and on and on. Now let's talk about knitting in the round a little bit. And you know, there are so many ways to knit in the round, but in order to respect that Eastern granny logic, this is the way I'm gonna knit in the round. So you see, the leading leg of this stitch is the back leg, so I'm gonna go through the back loop also going in the round. But if this is the way you grab the yarn for knitting in the flat, and this is the way you grab the yarn for knitting in the round. Okay, once again, this is the knit stitch for today. For today, there are so many ways to knit in the round, and this is the purl stitch. Knit and purl. Why do I choose this way of knitting? Because this is the right way for the stitch to be oriented, for me to go through the back loop. Okay, Like I said, there are so many ways to knit in the round. And let's say I want to make a reduction. Let's say I want to make it right here. Let's say this is the stitch. I'm gonna reduce around. Let's say this is our central stitch. So I had this extra purl stitch. I'm gonna undo it. So this is the knit stitch, and I want these two purl stitches to hide behind this one. I'm not gonna use a stitch marker in order to mark out this stitch. I'm just gonna transfer it to the right needle. And now these two purl stitches have to be knitted. Now again, I check the stitches and I choose the easiest way for them to sit on the needle so that I can easily knit them together without twisting. And then I pull the stitch from the reduction through this center one, making sure that this central one is not twisted. I'm gonna leave this stitch this way, and we will see when we go all the way around and maybe make another row without any decreases. I will see if I like the way the stitch is oriented. So I'm gonna finish this round, and I will see you right here, right before this central stitch. Okay, I'm right here, and after the reduction you have 1, 2, 3 knit stitches here. So for this row, since I like to reduce every other row, let's say the pattern says, or the logic says, to reduce every other row, this row should happen without any decreases. So let's see what happens. I knit one, and then the central. How do I knit it? Should I go this way? Should I just go this way? Let's see, is it twisted? No, it doesn't look like. Now, what if I made a mistake? What if my stitch somehow oriented this way? Let's knit it and see what happens. Aha! It's clear that this leg, this right leg, is kind of closer to you, okay? And it will give you this twist, well, it's not a twist, but the stitch will become wonky. We don't want that. We want even stitches. So just go ahead and figure out what's the way. See, here's this left leg standing out, okay? Or let's see what happens if you go like this. This leg is closer to you, which means the stitch is twisted. So go ahead and just find the way. See, this leg is closer to you, not the right way. Let's see what happens here. Okay, now it's a nice stitch which is not twisted. These legs are kind of placed on the same level, right? Okay, and now let's knit another one. So I had 3 of those, no twisting. Okay, and I'm just gonna continue this row, this round, and I will see you right here before this 1, 2, 3 knit stitches even start, and we will do another reduction. Okay, I've just finished this round with my camera off. Alright, I have these 3 knit stitches, and I want to reduce around this central stitch. So I'm gonna grab this central stitch, transfer it to the right needle, and knit these 2 together. Okay, and I'm gonna pull this left one through the central stitch. Okay, now if you were transferring the central stitch to the right needle and you made a mistake, for example, you forgot how you turn this stitch. Let's say you turned it this way, okay, and you did that reduction. And this one is turned the wrong way, so I'm gonna turn it the right way, the ergonomic way. So I made this reduction, I knit two together, and let's see what happens if my central stitch was twisted. This leg stands out and this stitch is wrong. It's just wrong. So what I'm gonna do here, I'm just gonna undo this stitch and turn it and pull this one through the oriented the right way stitch. So whatever style you choose, whatever stitch you want, you just need to remember that it's okay to figure out your stitch, to find the most ergonomic way for the stitch to sit on the needle. It's okay to make this turn. It's okay to experiment a little bit. It's okay to make sure that it's not twisted. It's okay to find the right way for the stitch to stay. And when you figure that out for yourself, you just get rid of all those questions. What's the way to do it the granny style? Just the way the stitches tell you. They tell you everything. They show you everything. Just look at them and do the right way. Well, please let me know if it makes sense, and leave a comment, and maybe if you have enthusiasts who enjoy this style, please share it with them. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time.